East of Norman and just south of Highway 9, tucked away in a wooded area on the outskirts of Noble, is a house that serves as nursery, hospital, and temporary home to all manner of wild creatures. Some days there's hardly any room left at the inn. That's why an organization devoted to rescuing wildlife is now launching the biggest project in its history.
At a glance, there's nothing out of the ordinary about this stretch of Highway 9 in rural Cleveland County. But travel just a few miles south, and you'll find a place that's a safe haven for injured and orphaned wildlife, and the woman who's very much a guardian angel to the animals that are brought here.
I've always had a tremendous passion for wildlife, and the wild animals that are struggling to survive really pull at my heartstrings, and it's usually due to man's technology.
Rhonda Large is co-founder and director of WildCare Foundation, a nonprofit wildlife rehabilitation organization dedicated to rescuing all creatures, great and small. It was 1984 when Rhonda first started caring for her patients. She had a full-time job then and balanced that with her passion for animals, or at least she tried.
The babies have to be fed during the day, so I would take them to work with me. My boss thought that was great at first. And then one year he walked into my office and I had a litter of possums, a litter of raccoons, and about 20-some baby birds behind my desk that I was feeding while I was doing my job. And he came in, looked around, didn't say a word, and walked out.
That's when she knew she had to make a decision. So Rhonda quit her job and began caring for the animals full-time.
These animals come in struggling to survive. They're either injured or ill. This time of year, a lot of them are orphans, babies that have lost their parents, that are struggling and won't survive without help.
At first, it was just a few animals. But in the past year, Rhonda and her staff of volunteers and interns have cared for more than 4,500 patients, acting as doctor to some and surrogate parents to others. She's made a happy childhood for this beaver, who obviously hasn't learned to fear people yet. He was most likely left an orphan when his parents' lodge was bulldozed. So Rhonda says he'll remain at WildCare until he's learned to build his own. Other enclosures are home to gray fox kits. There's also a coon condo for the dozens of curious raccoons, and a fawn enclosure for wounded deer.
When they came in, they were so badly broken, and they couldn't stand, and they would never have stood a chance. And to take some time to repair them and get them so that they're up on their legs and they are now starting to play and act like little fawns, that's incredibly rewarding.
Rhonda doesn't turn any animal away, even the ones who probably wouldn't be welcome elsewhere. By the way, these guys are armed, so we did our best not to startle them. Nearby, there's a waterfowl habitat where geese and ducks can swim or just amble about, whether on two good legs or one. Two bald eagles currently residing inside the eagle flight enclosure will be here for the rest of their lives, since their wings will never heal sufficiently to set them free. But Rhonda says whenever possible, her goal is to return them to nature.
If you've ever taken in a small eagle, about 13 pounds with a broken wing, and gotten them up on their feet and getting attitude and building strength, and you see him doing laps in this enclosure, and to actually wrestle him down and take him out and release him and see him soar across the sky, that's addicting. That's the most proud moment you can have.
It's also a full-time job with hardly any time off for a vacation. But Rhonda wouldn't have it any other way.
Every one of these animals that you've seen today would all be dead if there wasn't a place for them to receive care. And I'm not one to turn my back on an animal that's in need. And so I can give up a little bit of personal space and time and take this little baby possum and get him healthy again and get him released and let him have his life back.
But now, space is at a premium. So Rhonda is dreaming about expansion. She's already had plans drawn up for a new 5,200 square foot facility. The structure will include more room for nursery care and dorm space for interns who come from all over the United States. Rhonda says the building will also be educational, with monitors hooked up to hidden cameras inside the enclosures so visitors can observe what's happening behind the scenes.
Because it was dynamic to see those little fawns playing around today, but no one ever gets to see that. And so we really want to share with our contributors and the people in the community what actually goes on in this very strange little house back here in the woods.
Organizers are now reaching out to the public for help. Anyone who wants to donate to the cause can find out more by going to the WildCare website at www.wildcareoklahoma.org. Rondi says it'll take about $375,000 to finish the project. She hopes to break ground by early next year and have the new facility accepting more furred and feathered patients by the end of 2013.